So in this topic, we're creating and aligning OKRs. And in this lesson, it's about aligning goals across teams, breaking silos with horizontal and vertical OKR mapping. So we want you to think of a relay race. Each runner has a defined stretch to cover, but the success of the team depends on passing the baton clearly and running in the same direction. And in business, OKRs are that baton. If you don't have clear handoffs from top-level goals down to department and team-level goals, departments will run their own races, sometimes in opposite directions. Cascading OKRs really ensure the baton is being passed deliberately, keeping everyone moving toward the same finish line. So we're going to talk about what cascading looks like in practice. We already started to mention in a previous lesson the different layers from vision through to organisational, through to team and individual. But Amy, how do you actually cascade an objective and key result down through an organisation?
Yeah, great question. So think about our objective overall. And quite simply, the objective's key results then become the objective for the next layer down. So let's say you've got one objective, 3 key results. Those 3 key results that you've got are then 3 objectives for the next layer down. And it might be the marketing team have one of those, the product development team have another, the operational team have another. But they then own that part of the previous kind of levels objectives. So I think the best way for us to describe this is give an example.
We'll go back to our favourite coffee shop.
We will.
Daily Grind Coffee Co. So let's look at an objective that they have. Be the UK's most loved coffee brand by the end of 2025.
Yeah.
So that was the objective. That's aspirational. That's company-wide. The key result, or one of the key results, is increased national brand awareness from 25% to 40% by Q4.
Yep.
So let's then look at a marketing objective. So they are taking the key result from the organisation and they are using that to then translate, kind of create their own objective as a marketing function, which could be achieve 40% national brand recognition by Q4. They would then develop their own key results below that to support their objective, which could be things like launch 2 national advertising campaigns by the end of Q3, achieve 2 million social media engagements by Q4, and secure 20 media features in national press, for example. So then let's look at another key result. At an organisational level, we might have a key result which is launch the top-selling seasonal products that beat the market by the end of Q4. You know, that's not a perfect key result, but you get the picture. It's about the launching the products that win in the market. Amy, what then might product development do to develop objectives off the back of that, or an objective off the back of that?
So obviously the objective is going to be directly aligned. So it's going to be deliver those seasonal offerings that feature in maybe the national campaigns that we mentioned earlier on for the marketing. So that helps us link across the two, but it still helps us cascade down as well because the objective has come from the previous key results. They that might then have some key results that are launch 3 seasonal coffees, flavours by Q3, achieve 90% would recommend score for new products, ensure at least one seasonal product generates 500,000 in sales in its launch quarter.
So again, a bit like in the previous lesson, what we're seeing is that because you've started at the top, you've started with this organisation-wide, organisation-level objective instead of key results. It's really easy to actually then see the common threads that run back up across these teams. And if the teams are running back up to the same organisational objectives and key results, then by definition, they're going to have that horizontal alignment, which we so often miss. You know, different teams, different organisations, they're going after very different priorities because they're left to craft them for themselves, or they're left to, you know, almost define them for themselves off the back of perhaps, you know, a not so clear company-wide strategy. Let's go to some pitfalls and pro tips. So what have we seen in our careers doing consulting and working for some big corporates where this goes wrong? I would say that one, as I just alluded to, is if the top level objective and key results aren't clear, then department leads, you know, senior managers, they're almost left to define that for themselves. And they will naturally do the best they can with what they've got. You know, they will try and define an objective or a set of priorities. And then what you will find is that all these different leaders are, you know, defining what success looks like for them. And they're either competing or they're indirectly competing, and then they need different resources. And, you know, so it becomes a bit of lots of silo, you know, it's when we hear about silos, we hear, you know, lots of siloed teams going after different things and they're not joined up.
I think the other thing that I often see is that whilst objectives are maybe quite common at the top level, 3 to 5 objectives, the organisation knows what their key strategic objectives are. They then just use the KPIs that they maybe already have, those dashboards, and say, okay, so which ones do we need to move? And they'll talk about the step change, but that just is in the rest of the organisation without the clear link. We don't know really how this step change in this KPI is actually helping us achieve that. And the people that do might be just the senior leaders at the top, but everybody else doesn't see that.
Yeah.
So whilst they still might be going in the right direction, the visibility for the rest of the organisation is not there.
Yeah. What's a pro tip that we can go for by contrast? So what's something we've seen organisations do or teams do that's a really helpful way of the cascading and the horizontal alignment of OKRs?
So I think what makes the biggest difference for me is the visibility of that. So it's living and breathing OKRs. So it's not just having the OKRs written and drafted, it's being able to really clearly link to the top visibly. And that can be done through different pieces of software. It can be done, if every single time you put comms out that you're saying well done to people for what they've done, if you're talking about performance reviews, if you talk about how this thing that's been done is helping us achieve the overall goal, that makes such a difference because you're living and breathing it. I think when you see organisations where they might have a dashboard, so think about the KPIs being a dashboard. Well, if you have a dashboard that really allows you to clearly link, what if I click on my objective and we've done this, and that says that we've achieved this, we're 50% of the way to achieving this key result. Well, that means we're 25% of the way to achieving that objective, which means we're this far away from doing that bit. And you can see it feed the whole way up.
Yeah.
It's really, really clear how the progress being made is impacting the big goals.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go to our 3 key takeaways from this lesson. So number 1, cascading turns a key result into the next level's objective. Number 2, vertical alignment links every role to the company's strategy. And number 3, horizontal alignment builds collaboration across departments.
So your closing challenge is this. Look at your current team's goals. Can you trace each one back to a top-level company key result? And if not, work out where's the gap.